The putschists hit all branches of the Turkish government at once. Simultaneously, the armed perpetrators tried to take control of key buildings in Ankara and Istanbul, government buildings, the media, and police stations.
Two military planes started flying over the rooftops. This was extremely unusual. It seemed impossible.
Tabii benim bu söylemimi etrafımdaki herkes.
All my thoughts came to life. At that moment, I understood that something was going on.
Fatih is a former police chief. From the age of 13, he dreamed of becoming a law enforcement officer. He foresaw the approaching coup. Just a few days before the attack, he told his fellow soldiers that an armed attempt to shift power was about to happen. But what seemed like a joke at the dinner table turned into a terrible reality for his family. He managed to say goodbye to his wife and said nothing to the children. He left in a hurry for his police station, which, as it turned out, was already surrounded by the armed putschists and tanks. Side by side with colleagues, he began to defend the police department with only a gun in his hands. He believed that he would manage to win time and wait for reinforcements. Fatih was wounded in the first minutes of the attack on the police station. Colleagues managed to take him to a hospital. A bullet pierced his stomach. On social networks, he posted about the attempted military coup.
Tabii o sırada doktorlar bir anda etraf her yer yaralı doldu.
I made a post on social networks to inform people about what was happening around them, so that they would no longer believe blindly that this was a supposed anti-terrorist operation. I explained that they need to take to the streets and protect the state.
The putschists hit government buildings and strategic sites across the country. Bridges were seized over the Bosphorus in Istanbul, the local airport, and the airport in Ankara. The state television company was also seized by force.
At first, the putsch leaders tried to convince us that they came to protect us from ISIS terrorists, but later they read out a statement about a coup d'etat and we finally understood what was going on.
In a TV statement, the putschists declared a military coup. They promised a new constitution and called President Recep Tayyip Erdogan a traitor.
Some people interpreted this as a struggle for power, or thought it was a war between the authorities and its old friends, or they saw the putsch as a clash between the current authorities and the opposition.
After midnight, ordinary citizens came out in defense of the acting government. They defended strategic objects as a human shield and won control over them.
You can consider it intuition or experience, but at some point around 2 o'clock in the morning, it became clear that the coup was not real. Everything that was happening around us had many strange elements that suggested that there was no actual threat of some large-scale hostilities and war.
By July 17th, the putsch was finished and the main cleanup operation began. On July 20th, martial law was introduced. It lasted until the middle of July last year. More than 150,000 people were dismissed from their posts, from school teachers to army officers, civil servants, diplomats, judges, prosecutors, lawyers, and police officers. The authorities closed more than 100 media outlets. About 30,000 people were put behind bars for involvement in the failed coup. The government accused Islamic cleric Fethullah Gulen, who lives in the United States, of organizing the coup. Turkish prosecutors have demanded 3,623 aggravated life sentences for Gulen and 2,923 years in jail.